tell me why you should never date a man that makes less than you. Your words in that clip.
I wouldn't date a man that makes less than $100,000 a month.
Yeah. So the reason why you would never want to date a man that makes less money than you is because if he does make less money than you are not going to fully trust him to lead you.
If you watch enough social media, you can start to see patterns. This is social media 101 rage baiting. She's not talking about how proud she is of what she's doing to make the money. She's not talking about how she's contributing to society. She's talking about, I do something to make money and you need to do something to make what I make plus $1. Otherwise, you can't be in a relationship with me. And the purpose of all of this is to get guys to get enraged and try to debate her when she really doesn't have an argument except you ain't nothing if you don't make what I make, which is what she does.
The reason why you would never want to date a man that makes less money than you is because if he does make less money than you are not going to fully trust him to lead you. Because a man needs to be better than you in every aspect. Like whenever God made men, they made them first and he made them as providers. If you are making more money than your partner, you are now the provider, right? And so you never want to date a man that makes less money than you because if they make less money than you, chances are they're probably less disciplined, they're less motivated, and what's going to happen is they're going to end up dragging you down with them to their level of making less money.
Like I said, Rage Bait 101. The purpose of this video is to make guys go on the internet and do this.
Stop it! You're fired!
However, the truth of the matter is this is cope, and a growing number of men are starting to understand that it's cope. When she's with the guy that she really wants to be with, she's not talking about money. But moreover, the companies, even companies that we've known for the duration of our lives, understand this is a different world, baby.
You know it's bad in the streets when a whole company adds new messaging for their Valentine's Day. Sweethearts is just out here keeping up with the times when it goes from like kiss me, be mine to split rent, share your login, cook for two.
Picked up these sweetheart candies from the Dollar Tree. And you know how they usually have like the cutest like little sayings on them, you know, like true love. This one is XOXO. This one is bestie. And then we got joint taxes, carpool, Hello Kitty, my favorite, buy in bulk, and then we have
split rent. When I was a kid, before I was a proper connoisseur of candies, I thought getting a big bag of Circus Peanuts, Smarties, or Necro wafers was hitting the jackpot. And then one day I bit into some Good and Plenty and I knew that all candy was not created equal. There's a simple joy in a candy like Sweethearts. I can remember being an elementary school student taking a bag or a box of this inexpensive, not so delicious candy to school and taking out the ones that say be mine, love you, and giving those to the girls that we had a crush on. And then maybe we go out at recess and run around, play tag or whatever, and have fond memories of Valentine's Day. But times have changed. And in order for a candy like this to stand the test of time, some smart person in that factory said, we have to evolve our message. And that evolved message is, the game done changed, so we got to tell these people to carpool.
I could
and the split rent.
Well, a concerning warning for couples now. A new DHS intelligence note obtained by ABC News shows domestic partners are increasingly using chemical and biological toxins to kill their partners. The data finding that people intend on harming or killing their partners are turning to poisons like cyanide, often sourced from online black markets or made at home. The document highlighting the case of a Colorado dentist convicted of first-degree murder after gradually poisoning his wife's protein shakes. Let's bring in our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Kontursky. He's been following this for us. So clearly, the trend is so alarming, DHS had to issue a warning. So what's going on, Aaron?
Which is pretty astounding, Kira, when you think about it. But they have seen increasing numbers of cases where a husband or wife or other domestic partner is turning to these poisons. In large part, the authorities think because they can often mimic natural deaths. Sometimes they can, conceal themselves, and sometimes they are slow to release. So the death can occur gradually, and you might not pinpoint an exact cause. Perhaps they're hoping to get away with it in that way. But these substances have been increasingly turned to by domestic partners, the authorities say, and so much so that the Department of Homeland Security is now warning law enforcement to be on the lookout for these black market chemicals, and when they respond to domestic situations, to understand that these poisons may be present.
I guess we understand why Sweethearts is saying split the rent, huh? If you're watching my channel, you understand the reason why Passport Bros exist. If guys want to deal with any kind of traditional anything, they know that they cannot do that in a modern dating West, where essentially young ladies want to hold many men to traditional standards, but they have moved far past traditional standards of behavior for young ladies. And so it's refreshing to have podcasts like this one with Cameron, who's essentially saying what everybody is thinking out loud, because he understands the double standard doesn't make sense to maintain anymore.
To me, I just want to give the biggest story to me than all this is to shout out to Stephon Diggs, because him leaving teams and then it didn't work out in Texans, and they wasn't sure if he's going to go to the Patriots and do well, and not just Texans and Buffalo. They was like, yo, what you going to do without Josh Allen? And for him to be in this situation right now with the Patriots going to Super Bowl, I just want to give him congratulations. But bigger than the congratulations than making the Super Bowl is having your chicks under control. Is that I love that. I'm disappointed about it for myself, actually. Like, everybody's getting along. It's babies coming after babies all in the same year, and nobody's mad. CARDI's even welcoming it. CARDI's like, yo, are we going to have another one on the way? I told one of my chicks that the other day, like, yo, if Cardi B can handle it, who are you to be questioning me about somebody else? If Cardi B is accepting another 3-4 children on the way, the fact that he has this organized and has this all situated, that's the bigger props.
And that's what they don't want to promote.
Yeah.
They hating on the player.
Yeah, man. Exactly. I'm more in awe of that.
The conversation that Cameron is having here about Stephon Diggs is one we've heard before, a straight, real conversation that gets to the point. Remember, Kevin Samuels told us that high-value men don't cheat. They exercise options. That's essentially the same conversation, which is why he's going to live in immortality, because he basically brought that conversation to the mainstream, that many young ladies don't mind sharing with Stephon Diggs, and they're all getting along. They're not fighting. And this is Cameron essentially championing it, because the young ladies are essentially telling everyone in the society, why don't you regulate Stephon Diggs' behavior, instead of saying, why are women choosing to share a Stephon Diggs over building a life with an average guy? And well, for guys that still don't square that circle, they feel like they're doing something wrong as a high-value man exercising options, when essentially in this modern environment, if you can pay for 3, 4, 5, 10 women, you have every right to do that, because everything's for sale.
Anything that she done to me, anything that we went through, I'm going to take it, I'm going to take it on the chin, because that's what men do. If we been 1,000% real, I should have left a long time ago.
We all know the story of the difficult upbringing of Bud Crawford, where his mother was essentially employing other kids in the neighborhood to come and try and beat up her son, and he basically had to fight to survive. Of course, he became very good at fighting, and to hold the undisputed belt in 3 different weight classes at the same time, I mean, he's one of the best boxers ever. And so my question is, in what modern dating environment does this man have to apologize at all about what he is doing with the women that are choosing to be with him? And this is an example of the old behavior regulating a man who's essentially exercising his options, but being made to feel guilty about doing what essentially Cardi B is doing and celebrating. And that's just exercising her options, all fine and dandy, exercising his options. He feels like he's a terrible man that has something to apologize for.
If we been 1,000% real, I should have left a long time ago. Men stay, women leave. To cover that up, we wasn't even together when I had got my other baby mama pregnant. You know, yeah, we was living together and things like that, but we wasn't together. Things happen, like I said, like, not saying that it's cool, not saying it's okay, but men have babies outside of their relationship every day. This is nothing new. That's why I'm like, women too. A lot of people always criticize men of having children outside of their relationship or whatever the case may be, they wives and things like that. But when you see a woman do it, it's all, she deserved better, or he wasn't doing this, or he did this to her, or why, and this and that. You don't know why that man stepped out on his wife or his relationship and things like that.
I'll start this with a disclaimer that I am not one that celebrates people having children outside of wedlock because it degrades societies and all of that, but we know all of that. Still, women are still choosing that. They're still choosing to have this kind of family tree, and it's just what it is. And so when you're hearing Bud Crawford try to come to terms with, he was told as a little boy what's the right thing to do when dealing with women, but he's facing a reality that he has a baby mother that essentially should be worshiping him, to be honest with you. I mean, she's not going to find one of the best boxers that ever lived as her boyfriend again. So I don't understand what they might be fighting about, one. But two, even if he is dating several other women at the same time, that's just this. That is just being a star in this modern Western dating market where if you got the money and the fame, you can buy as many women as you want. There shouldn't be any shame in it anymore. It's just the way things are. If you could buy her, she going.
And I don't think it's about black people.
Yeah.
It's polyamorous all over. It's more white people poly than black people, in my personal opinion, especially in Utah.
And the Mormons, I was about to say that. Yeah.
So you like promote the black people. I don't think it's a black thing. I think black people are catching on later. I think it's more white than black people living like that. My personal opinion. You know, it's all over, but Stephon Diggs is figuring it out. He's laying out the blueprint for us out here.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I got you. Here you go. As you should. I got you. I know that's right.
I said, let's go to Mexico. And he said, we'll see. I don't know what he's seen, but I'm in Mexico. Can't even lock down a fat girl anymore.
Hey, man.
that big as y'all just went through her phone a whole lot of that. I ain't never seen one that big in my life. Not even purchased one. Y'all, man, ooh.
I told y'all. I told somebody in the comments that I said, you know, they're gonna save those. I only expect them to keep the biggest meats. They probably, like I said, they probably got the smart ones would have a separate Google Drive email that you would never, you know, that they would log into when they pull a rose out and because they tired of your shrimp, and then they go to that and they pull the rose out and they get crazy.
You just had an abortion? Twins?
Twins.
Yeah, double homicide. I'm sorry.
I'm just telling you that the world that some of you may be hoping for is long gone. Being needed is no longer enough. You have to be wanted. You have to be desired. You have to be wanted is the only word. Most women today are not waiting to be saved or chosen or rescued into a life. They already have lives. They already have stability. They already have community. And that community is full of platonic male and female friendships. So the question is no longer, what do you provide, but do I want you here?
When you see the interview clip of Bud Crawford, you can see him struggling trying to square the old circle of being a good man with the new rules, which basically there are none. The only thing that matters, as we heard from the previous feminists, is be likable. If you're likable, then essentially you could do what you like. And what we see with modern women's behavior is that they're doing exactly that. They're being with whom they like in the way that they like. And if you're a guy trying to square that circle in this new environment with the old rules, you get this meme, and there are tons of them. She let everyone clap, and now she wants to settle and have a family with you?
Dad, you got somebody else I can talk to? You got a supervisor or something?
I would never let a nigga run a train on me.
100,000.
No, I've had.
Oh, my mama, take me through there.
At this point, the memes are just writing themselves. This one says, girls wear the same tongue piercing from 7 guys they dated ago. This is a young lady who's complaining about the person that she's dating still having pictures of other guys that she dated in her phone. And you know which pictures I'm speaking of. This is a guy saying Kai Cenat's girl was going, Tom Brady's girl was going, Steph Curry's girl was going. You think your girl isn't going to go? It all goes back to that simple saying that this space rallies around. She's not yours. It's just your turn. And if you don't find a way to be real about this modern environment, you know what's going to happen to those guys.
What's the matter with you, boy?
She's a 10 out of 10, but tells you about her past.
You too stupid to do what your coach tells you?
You know, it's all over, but Stephon Diggs is figuring it out. He's laying out the blueprint for us.
You know, it's all over, but Stephon Diggs is figuring it out. He's laying out the blueprint for us.
No. No what?
Dad, you got somebody else I can talk to? You got a supervisor or something?
Why don't men approach women that they find attractive? And yes, I'm generalizing, y'all, because it's true. A lot of men don't approach women. If you find a woman attractive, you're not going to approach her. You're not going to tell her she's pretty. You never know. Have we as women made it hard for y'all to approach us?
Now, this is a very beautiful young lady. And if it were the 1990s, I probably would have tried to shoot my shot at her. But in 2025, we know a lot about how women move, especially when they're around the kind of guy that they really want to be with. Approaching is not a problem because she approaches him. We know that now because of social media. And the other thing, of course, is there's a PR problem with modern women. Modern women want to have the PR of women of the past, but social media has erased that. Now we know that young ladies, when they want to go, they go. And the images of how guys feel when that one girl that they really like reveals her past, it's devastating. And that's how you get these kind of water boy crash outs. A guy thinking that I found my special one lady, and this modern dating environment reminds him, no, she got it in before she met you. You're just the guy that's paying the highest price. I'm not saying that it's fair, and I'm not saying that all women in this modern environment are getting it in like maybe many guys seem to think they are. But the truth is that the PR says that that young lady, when she's with that guy that she doesn't mind sharing because he's that high value guy that many women don't mind sharing, she did what she wanted to do with him, and she didn't make him jump through any hoops. The math that modern women did not account for is the imagination in that man's head, going through all of the possible permutations and computations of what kind of craziness that woman he cares about did when she was out there having her fun. No amount of shame is going to change that part of a man's biology if he cares about you. But if he doesn't care about you, he's going to be there for a good time until he goes somewhere where he can find a traditional young lady in her passport bros, and he's not going to be romantic. Because simply put, there's no Valentines for concubines. You have a good time with the concubine, the young lady that's there for a good time, and then you move on. And that's the part where these young ladies are coping because they already understand these guys don't see them as love interests anymore. They only see them as a good time. And that doesn't feel good to them. That, unfortunately, is the math they should have done before they lobbied for all this modern women stuff. Concubines don't get Valentines. And that's why guys are not crashing out as much anymore, and they're beginning to get apathetic. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you next video. Take care, guys.